From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Monday, May 5th. It is another dreary day, feeling those cool temps as well. I expect more showers to possibly develop after 2 this afternoon. Not going to be as wet as the weekend, but it is going to stay cool. Highs around 60 degrees.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
The Indiana Pacers have grabbed home court advantage in their second-round playoff series. Tyrese Halliburton and Andrew Nembhard led last night's offensive attack in a 121-112 win over the Cavaliers with 22 and 23 points respectively. The two teams lock up again Tuesday night before the series comes to Indianapolis. News 8's Andrew Chernoff is in Cleveland and talked to the team right after the win.
The fans in these seats were hoping to be cheering for most of last night, but the Pacers came into this arena with other ideas. The blue and gold taking game 1 of their best-of-7 playoff series against the Cavs, a 9-point victory to take a 1-0 series lead. The storyline of last night, shooting. Indiana was 53% from the field, including 53% from behind the arc. Those are good stats to have, especially when you play the top team in the East.
You know, we've got to stay hungry. I mean, I haven't heard many people that gave us a chance in this series, you know, so we got to use that as some level of motivation, but, you know, we know what we're capable of. We're going to have to be ready, but our mindset has got to be, you know, we've got to keep attacking.
Coming into this series, there's not a lot of people picking us to win by any means. You know, we're definitely the heavy underdog in this series, but you know, I think we're trying to control what we can, and as a group, just keep believing in what we do. And you know, I thought we've had a great couple days of preparation for these guys, and our energy was just right from start to jump. We knew that this crowd was going to be probably the best away crowd we've ever seen as a group in the playoffs. So I thought we did a great job responding, especially when they went on that run there. And we're just figuring out ways to win.
It's just y'all. You know, it's you, your teammate, your coaching staff, maybe a couple friends, family. So it's important to keep the crowd out of it as much as possible. We did a good job at that. They got into it a little bit in the third, and we were able to silence them and, you know, continue to play our game.
Does the mentality change now going up 1-0?
No. I mean, we came in here and played a great game, but we can't be satisfied. We have to fix a lot of things, and we know they're going to, and they're a great team, so we have to be ready.
Indiana is already turning the page after last night's victory. In fact, head coach Rick Carlisle said that game 2 is going to be even harder, considering that the Cavs will be playing with their backs against the wall. We'll have you covered throughout the rest of today and tomorrow as the Pacers and Cavs gear up for game 2, which takes place here in Cleveland on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. For now, inside Rocket Arena, I'm Andrew Chernoff for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Happening today, the grace period is over on the northeast corner of the commute. NDOT says fines are starting on the construction zone of 465 and I-69, known as ClearPath. As we've reported, new truck-mounted cameras are in place to stop speeders. Until now, they have led to a written warning in the mail. Now, fines kick in. $75 the first time, $150 after that. NDOT says it has sent out about 90,000 warnings, courtesy notices, since the cameras started rolling. Also happening today, crews in Carmel start carving out a new roundabout. It's at the busy intersection of 96th and College. Plan goes beyond mere street work. The city says it will also have some raised crosswalks as part of a larger overhaul of College. The main detour will be Spring Mill Road, and you can also use Westfield or US 31. City says the work should be finished by July. Also in Carmel, ITMA is tracking the new developments in the Chris Kindle Market controversy. Holiday Market is at the center of the dispute among city leaders. News 8's Hernan Gutierrez is on the story. And the focus begins with finances.
iTeam 8's Tim Spears says an affiliate review committee is scheduled to present its latest report at tonight's city council meeting. That committee was formed last year to look into the finances of nonprofits the city works with, like the Carmel Christkindl Market. At the time, Mayor Sue Finkum said that she was concerned about the Christkindl Market's financial transparency. It came after Finkum replaced the chair of the market's board, Susan McDermott, and another board member. The mayor claimed the board wasn't providing the city with information about its finances. Last week saw McDermott file a defamation lawsuit against the mayor for those claims, as well as the resignation of the market's CEO, Maria Rosenfeld. McDermott's lawsuit claims she was removed to allow for a new operating agreement, giving the city more control of that market. So far, neither McDermott nor Rosenfeld have spoken with News 8, but in her letter of resignation, Rosenfeld said she felt undermined and left out of decisions ever since the mayor made those changes to the board. Tonight's city council meeting in Carmel is scheduled to start at 6. In the newsroom, I'm Hernan Gutierrez for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
The City Council in West Lafayette is set to take a final vote tonight on a request to build a data center. The company is SK Hynix. Some who live near the proposed computer chip plant are urging the council to oppose it, saying they worry about water contamination and other environmental concerns. The company says it plans to create 1,000 jobs at that facility. The West Lafayette City Council is set to meet at 6:30 tonight inside City Hall. Happening today, the first of 2 clemency hearings slate for a man who was sentenced to die this month. Benjamin Ritchie is on death row for killing a Beech Grove police officer in 2000. His attorneys are trying to stave off Ritchie's May 20th execution date, arguing Ritchie was born with a severely damaged brain due to prenatal alcohol exposure. The parole board is slated to hear arguments today at the state prison in Michigan City and again next week at the Indiana Government Center in Indianapolis. Today, the federal government is restarting collection of defaulted federal student loans. It's part of a broader effort to roll back loan forgiveness policies and dismantle the Department of Education. Amy Kiley spoke to experts and has information for people who are not current on their payments.
You can't just say, well, I think that'll all work itself out.
Collection of defaulted federal student loans resumes today after a 5-year pause related to the pandemic. Defaulting usually means missing payments for 270 days or more. The government says that can now lead to garnishment of state or federal benefits. It says it'll start garnishing wages this summer.
If your debt gets sent to collections, that goes onto your credit report, and that can impact your ability to get an apartment, a mortgage, a car loan, even some employers' check.
The Department of Education estimates about 5 million borrowers have defaulted on student loans. It says another 4 million are at least 90 days late on payments. Experts suggest all borrowers visit their loan provider's website to confirm their status and update their contact information. If a person is worried about defaulting, experts say they could look into an income-based repayment plan. Payment pauses, called deferment or forbearance, or consolidation or refinancing. The DOE says a person with a defaulted loan can learn their options through the Student Aid Office's Default Resolution Group. They might be able to restore their status through a process called rehabilitation.
It's time to, buckle down and figure out how you can make those payments.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
President Trump is blasting Mexico's president. Trump says Claudia Sheinbaum rejected his proposal to send U.S. troops into Mexico to fight drug cartels. Sheinbaum says Trump pressed her last month to accept such a strategy, but that she declined, saying sovereignty is not for sale. Trump claims Sheinbaum is afraid of drug cartels. The president also says his next tariff is on the films that are made outside the U.S. Trump says in a new Truth Social post that he has authorized the federal government to put a 100% tariff on any movie produced in foreign lands. Trump claims such work is a national security threat.
The movie tariffs, what they've done is other nations have been stealing the movies, the movie-making capabilities from the United States. And I said to a couple of people, what do you think? I've done some very strong research over the last week, and we're making very few movies now. Hollywood is being destroyed.
The Motion Picture Association has not yet responded to the president's comments. Trump also says he's open to extending the deadline for a deal on TikTok again. He used executive action last month to keep the platform running in the U.S. for another 75 days. The White House is trying to broker a deal to bring TikTok under American ownership. China blocked a sale of TikTok last month following Trump's wide-ranging tariffs.
When I think of that fateful day 4 years ago, The only heroes I saw were wearing uniforms.
That's former Vice President and Indiana Governor Mike Pence paying tribute to Capitol Police officers and deflecting from his own actions the day supporters of President Trump stormed the U.S. Capitol. Pence received the Profile and Courage Award last night at the JFK Library in Boston. The library says it chose Pence for his refusal to go along with President Trump's efforts to stay in office after the 2020 election. Organizers say he put his life and career on the line. Red, white, and blue, and green, white, and orange are the colors of the week at the Indianapolis International Airport. With celebrations on the runway and in the concourse and terminal, a new transatlantic flight is connecting Indiana to Dublin, Ireland. News 8's Malia Van Osteren reports from the airport about the city's first direct flight to Europe since the COVID-19 pandemic.
What does it mean to the state? We reconnect back to Europe. You know, world-class state and a world-class city needs that sort of connection.
Indiana is home to 52 Ireland-based companies, and just this year, Eli Lilly and Company announced a $1.8 billion investment in its 2 Irish facilities. Rodriguez says in 2024, over $30 billion came to the state in imported goods.
1 out of every 4 items that are exported to the United States come to Indiana. A lot of it is pharma. Thank you, Eli Lilly, and thank you, everybody else from pharma. But it really is an economic driver, and it's an economic connection.
It's not just Hoosiers who will gain from the connection. Irish officials say this new route also opens up new markets, makes travel easier, expands business opportunity, and keeps Indiana and Irish relationships strong.
And that's based on deep people-to-people links and also booming economic connections. So we're really looking forward to building on those links and also exploring new connections too.
Alison Metcalf of Travel Ireland says she's excited about having more tourists learn about what Dublin and other cities have to offer.
They want great scenery. They want to enjoy a unique culture through music, through literature, but also through great food. But they want to have fun. And as we say in Ireland, I think we have a unique brand of hospitality.
Aer Lingus executive Bill Byrne highlights that the under 8-hour flight will not only save time, but also helps travelers save money, making it a smart move for the average flyer. Flights are an average of $600 to $800 round trip per person.
And even better than all of this is by having nonstop service, it's going to be the most affordable flight you can take to Europe. It'll be the fastest flight and probably the cheapest flight from Europe, from Indianapolis to Europe, that the citizens here in Indianapolis can take advantage of.
I'm Malia Van Osteren for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Jury selection is scheduled to begin today in the trial against music mogul Sean Combs. He faces 5 federal charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. Lee Wildman reports.
Federal prosecutors and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs' defense team will question potential jurors on their views on distribution of illegal drugs, the music industry, and people engaging in sexual relations with multiple partners, among other topics, according to court filings. The jury selection process marks the first step in the federal trial against Combs, who is facing a number of federal charges, including sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. He has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. In an unsealed federal indictment, prosecutors allege Combs and his associates used power to coerce women into sex acts and encounters known as freak-offs, dating as far back as 2008.
He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims.
Jurors are expected to hear from some of those victims, including Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, who was seen in this disturbing hotel surveillance footage being kicked and dragged by Combs back in 2016. A judge ruled this video will be shown to the jury despite numerous attempts by the defense to have it excluded.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Court filings from the prosecution allude to federal searches of Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami last year, where law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
Now to the track. Alex Palou speeds into the month of May with his 3rd win in 4 IndyCar races with a dominant drive in Alabama. Palou started on the pole and led 81 of 90 laps. It's the 14th win of his IndyCar career and comes at the same track where he won his first race with Chip Ganassi Racing in 2021.
It was the perfect weekend for us for the 10
HRC car. The car was amazing. Pit stops were great as well. But I would say just the performance we had all weekend from that number 10 car was making my job and was making me look very good on track. So, yeah, it was a perfect one for us.
Drivers and teams now head to Indianapolis for Saturday's Sancio Grand Prix. Practice and qualifying on the IMS road course are set for Friday. Caitlin Clark keeps rewriting history on her old home court. Clark and her Indiana Fever teammates dominated the Brazilian national team at the University of Iowa. Clark had predictably a strong game and won with a very memorable moment. If you're able to watch the video, pay attention to the floor in front of her.
Here's Clark. Wow! You bet! From beyond the logo! And a little point afterwards.
It's not just a logo, it's the number 22 logo that Iowa installed at Carver Hawkeye Arena, marking the spot where Caitlin Clark set the all-time college scoring record. Clark's 3 from Sunday was a full step farther as the Fever blew out Brazil 108-44. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and wishtv.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.